The Squid Game crypto token cost one Shanghai investor his life savings of 28 grand after the coin plunged to near zero. Now, this is the problem with a lot of cryptocurrencies and why people need to be very careful. And I understand, especially with the rise of the whole Shiba Inu coin, right? And people think that everything is going to go to the moon and everyone's going to make disgusting amounts of money and everyone's going to become a millionaire. Guess what? A lot of crypto coins are basically a lottery ticket. 99.999999999% of the time, you're going to lose your money if you put into it. In the few small amounts of times, right? The 0.012, basically the infinite chance, you'll end up making money. Now, you might say that Bitcoin and Ethereum and maybe Cardano are more of a long-term bet, which is very true. Those are a little bit more long-term bets. There's a lot of institutional investors getting involved into that and have been getting involved into that where that's a little bit safer. But what you got to understand is that crypto coins that just pop out of nowhere or that are trend-based, meaning that they are following something due to the momentum of something, you can potentially make a lot of money and potentially lose every single cent. So let's get right into the story. So when Bernard heard about a token named after the popular South Korean Netflix series Squid Game, which chronicles the lives of cash-strapped adults who play in a deadly tournament for a big jackpot, he did a quick scan on Google to see if the coin was legit. After catching headlines, but before reading the full articles, big red flag right there, right? Before this dude even read the articles fully, he already invested. Okay? What the hell? This is like one of the most blatant signs of basically stupidity that anyone could ever do with their money. Right? So after catching headlines, but before reading the full articles, many of which warned of some red flags around the project, he decided to invest his entire life savings of $28,000 into Squid, a coin that billed itself as play-to-earn cryptocurrency. On Monday, the token hit a high of just over $2,860 before plummeting to nearly zero, according to CoinMarketCap. And here's the thing. According to CoinMarketCap, when that time of basically this like price point, right? They actually released a statement basically like, hey, warning, there's some people who bought this coin that seem to not be able to sell it. Okay? Like, this is the problem of investing your money, all of your money, into one thing that you do not understand at all. Right? Like, this is one of the saddest and depressing examples of extremely bad financial decisions, right? Like, here's the thing, right? You never want to put everything into one basket, especially with limited information, right? And if you do have an interest in something, and an interest in something that's pretty high risk, only use money that you are okay with losing, right? So, for example, let's say that for some reason you were interested in the Squid token, right? Okay, let's say that you got like 10 grand in the bank for like an emergency fund. You got like a $1,000 like sinking everyday fund, right? You have really no debt. So maybe you want to use like $100 to this thing. Nothing wrong with that, right? But if you have debt, if you have credit card debt, student loans, a mortgage, all this other stuff, right? And you're basically living paycheck to paycheck and you only got $100 to your name, you don't put $100 into this token. In fact, you don't put any money into this token at all because you need that $100 that you actually have to your name, right? This is just common sense when it comes down to personal finance, right? And this is what's so sad is because this person had a life savings of $28,000, right? That means they had enough common sense to save their money. But they did not have enough common sense to not bet everything on black and is showing up red, right? So my rush to buy this token is for a single idea that went into my brain that Squid Game is very, very popular now, and his token must be popular now. Said Bernard, who lives in Shanghai, and I asked to be identified only by his English first name because trading in cryptocurrencies is of questionable legality in China. Yeah. But think about what this individual just said, right? My rush to buy this token is for a single idea that went to my brain that Squid Game is very, very popular now. And its token must be popular now. Yeah, think about what he just said. It's popular now. The token is popular now, right? Not will be, now, right? So what does this mean? This means that basically he knowingly bought in at a peak. Think about that. Have you ever heard of the saying, buy low, sell high, right? That means you buy when there's not much demand, so everything is cheap, so that when there is a lot of demand and the price is high, you end up selling for massive profits, right? Like, that is just common sense. You don't go buy something just because it's popular. This is where you could end up burning a lot of your money. For example, this is the same problem with people with Dogecoin who lost a lot of money. This is the same people who ended up taking out a mortgage on their home when Bitcoin was like $17,000 in like 2017 and then sold it when it hit and crashed $2,000, right? You have to be very careful with bets like this. And again, this is a bet. This is not an investment, right? There's no basis for this investment. And the basis that he did use, right, was stupid, right? So this is just a very good example of what not to do when it comes to investing your money in anything, and especially in like something riskier like cryptocurrencies. So it's a tragedy. I don't know how to recover my loss. Well, pretty much, most likely, maybe this coin was not necessarily a scam coin, but that there wasn't really any tangible value to it. So basically everyone who probably bought this coin pretty much thought the same idea, but they bought earlier before him and sold everything. So Bernard tells CNBC that he supports his family and is now worried about how to pay his bills. Again, see, this is the problem. You do not put every freaking dollar into a stupid bet, right? This is literally the equivalent, right, of putting your life savings of $28,000 on scratch-off lottery tickets. This is the exact same thing. And funny enough, you probably actually got better odds on a scratch-off than doing the Squid token. So transaction records from BSC Scan appear to show the token's anonymous creators collected at least $3.4 million in investor funds. And the crypto ecosystem is rife with so-called rug pull schemes wherein token founders abruptly abandon their project and take investor funds with them by swapping the project coin for cash. Yeah, it happens all the freaking time. So Squid Game dev does not want to continue running the project as we are depressed from the scammers and is overwhelmed with stress, Squid developers posted Monday in their Telegram channel, which now has more than 89,000 members. So the token's white paper and website have since disappeared, through the archived copies of its official landing page and white paper are still online, and Twitter has temporarily restricted its account due to suspicious activity. And the creators did not respond to multiple emails that CNBC sent to the addresses listed on the website. Never mind, I changed my mind. This was a 100% scam. This was a 100% scam token. Oh my god. Yeah, this dude that basically bet everything into this scam token, this Squid token, lost 28 grand for nothing. He literally just gave someone, these group of individuals, 28 grand. Imagine giving someone that you don't know $28,000 and just losing every single cent of it. That is crazy. And this is the thing that you got to really understand, right? Because this is very important for people to actually see and listen to. Because this individual is not the only one that did this. You have $3.4 million of people who put money into this thing, right? That means untold amounts of people put money into this and lost everything, right? And that's hard to see because I understand people wanting to get rich quick. Everybody wants to get rich quick, right? Everybody wants to make more money faster. Like, that's just human nature. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to make a lot of money quick, right? But you got to understand, if you want to build wealth, right, to where you could have more financial freedom, to where you have more options available to you, so that you could have less weights on top of your shoulders dragging you down to the ground, you have to make sound financial choices for the long term. Because nobody who does this stuff thinks that it's going to happen to them. Nobody who does these things think like, oh yeah, this might be risky, but oh well, it's not going to happen to me, right? And this is the thing. Anytime you make a bet like that, there's massive risk. And if you cannot handle the cost of doing that risk, guess what? You should not be doing it, right? Like, no one in this person's situation where he has a family and he is taking care of them should bet literally their life savings on a bet, on a crypto coin, about a show, right? Like, this is such a sketchy situation, and it happens so many times, and people need to really rethink how they view money and personal finance, right? Because here's the thing, right? And a lot of people may not even know this who might end up listening to this, right? You will make over $1 million in your lifetime by simply working a 9-to-5 job. Period. End of story. You will literally make over $1 million to your name, right? But it depends on how you spend your money, how you save your money, and how you invest your money as to whether or not the $1 million you earn, like the $1 million plus that you earn, right, will actually turn into something or stay within a decent amount of money by the time that you retire, to where you could actually survive in your later years. Or even if you're younger, have money that's available to you for opportunities to where you could go on travels, you could buy a car that you like, you could purchase a house, you could do a down payment on a house, right? You could maybe buy a car for someone in need, right? You could be super generous with your personal finance situation, right? This is the point of like mastering your finances so that you have the freedom to basically do whatever the hell you want to do when it comes down to your money, right? But when you pull something like this, when you make a bet like this, where you bet your whole life savings, your family's life savings on something so freaking stupid like a Squid Game token, of course things are going to hit the fan, right? So I'm just ranting at this, but this is such a disturbing situation because this happens so often, especially with the whole crypto space. And you see this all the time with like influencers promoting crap cryptocurrency, basically scamming all of their followers. They're like, oh yeah, this thing's gonna go to the moon. Oh yeah, you're gonna become a millionaire. Oh yeah, you're gonna get rich. No, you're gonna get scammed out of every single cent that you have, that you put into it, and all the people who created the asset is basically gonna make all the money, right? Now, the only differences between basically Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano is that they end up basically providing something in return, right? Bitcoin is basically kind of like digital gold, right? It is more secure. You could do more things with Bitcoin. You could actually literally buy houses, like massive properties, artwork, all that kind of stuff, even luxury cars with Bitcoin, right? You could actually do that. Same thing with Ethereum. You could also buy digital artwork with that. You could have like a proof of ownership, which is actually going to be pretty important into the future, right? And Cardano is probably going to eventually get to where basically Ethereum is. Maybe not the price point, but in utility, possibly. But everything else is basically worthless, right? Everything else is just basically a joke. Everything else might be worth something, might not be worth something. It's all speculative, right? And so everything else is just basically a pure bet. And you're just hoping that your lottery ticket is going to be the winner chicken dinner, right? So the main thing that I really want to say about this, right, is that change your viewpoint on getting rich quick. You want to build wealth forever, okay? You want to make money forever, right? You want to increase your net worth every single year. Like that's what your goal should be. Increasing your net worth every single year. So what does this mean? Pay down your debt. Once you pay down your debt, you save up enough money for your emergency fund. Once you have your emergency fund saved up, then you start investing towards your future so that your investments can literally get to the point where it could actually provide you more cash flow per year than the money you make from your job or from your business, which it can get to that point due to basically the eighth wonder in the world called compound interest. So keep that in mind. This is something that is extremely important that a lot of people don't ever really want to discuss, but be very careful when it comes to cryptocurrency. And if you know anyone who is thinking about betting their whole life savings into a cryptocurrency, maybe slap them upside the head and be like, hey, you moron, don't do that. By the way, if you want to learn how to get out of debt and master your money so that you have more options available to you so that you don't end up doing something stupid like this, but if you do want to do something stupid like this, not your whole life savings, but maybe like $20, $100 or $1,000 here and there for play money because you have the option to go and do something like that, go to 14bucks.com and learn how to get out of debt and master your money. But holy crap, never do something like this.